Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bruce from Garbage is Great, and we're going to continue on with some recordings. Now, things are a little bit different for the next little while. I'm not at home. I'm not working in my regular space, and I don't have unfettered access to the internet the way I would at home. So things are going to be a little bit different, and it also means I don't have the capacity to collaborate with either Pete or Jay or anyone else really in the same way as I did because of the fact that I am working somewhere else. Now, what that does mean is I can still record and I can still upload stuff, but it's going to be a little bit different. What we're going to do is we're going to revert to some of the garbage or great stuff that Pete and I were doing in terms of like just doing some raw card evaluation. And I think it's going to be something whereby that card evaluation is still useful, even if it's not necessarily discussed in the same detail as some of the others. Pete provides really good insight. So does Jay, as did Lux, right? But I think it's time for me to continue to go back to that and do some card evaluation, particularly now that we've got a whole slew of sets coming out here in the next little while. As I record this today, Marvel Superheroes is out, but The Hobbit isn't far down the line. So we're going to have some other things coming up. So let's do some garbage or great. Today we're going to do 3 different legendary creatures from the Marvel Superheroes because I have been enjoying using the uncommons way more than some of the other cards, and I think there's a lot of play to some of them. So, for instance, great example, and we're going to start with, I've been very enamored with this card, is Captain America Living Legend. So 1 white blue for a 3/4 legendary creature, human soldier with vigilance. And whenever a creature you control becomes tapped during your turn, if it's the first time that creature has become tapped this turn, untap it. So that is pretty neat. It is very, very powerful, and I think anybody who thinks that uncommons are not has misread the situation quite badly. Now, whether Captain America plays in the 99 or plays in the plays as the commander, you have a very powerful tool. Anything that says untap target thing is very potent. So, great example. If you run Captain America as a commander, you have all sorts of really neat effects that you can tap and untap your things, whether it's looters, or I really like Jacob Hawken, which is the mythic from I believe it was Crimson Vow, but or Midnight Hunt. But either way, the card allows you, eventually turns over and into a really interesting enchantment that's kind of like omniscience related. It does a lot of broken stuff. So Jacob Hawken or looters or tappers or other such things are really quite interesting. But if you decide to put Captain America in the 99 and play it in conjunction with something, you get access to all sorts of untapping shenanigans. You can do things with Tokasia where you tap to surveil and then untap them with Captain America and then get back into it. There's lots of really, really powerful things you can do. And so whether you build it as the commander or in the 99, I think there's a lot of merit to the card being utilized. The best part is 3 mana for a 3/4 is already a good stat line. The fact that its vigilance is also very useful. They're in good colors that are going to give you lots of capacity to interact and respond to what your opponents are putting in play. I think it's a super good little commander, and do think that people ought to be playing it more readily. All right. In that same vein of somebody who I think is actually quite good is Killmonger, Scourge of Wakanda. 2 black-green for a 3/3 legendary creature, human mercenary villain. When Killmonger enters, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy another target non-land permanent an opponent controls. As long as there are 2 or more creature cards in your graveyard, Killmonger gets +2/+1. Now, this card is appealing not because of the rate in the same way that Captain America is. Although, if you can turn this into a 4 mana 5/4, that's a pretty good return for your investment as well. But it's more along the line of the fact that if any deck that's running Killmonger is guaranteed to have a piece of removal in your command zone. And there's a lot of value to that. Because sometimes having interaction is one of the stumbling points for many decks. And if you're playing black and green, I know it really shouldn't be, but having Killmonger be a source of removal is, and not just for a creature, but for any non-land permanent, is extremely potent. Additionally, this plays very comfortably in all sorts of black-green aristocrat strategies that I think people tend to really enjoy. So if you're really looking into this sort of effect, I think Killmonger is a good tool. Now, I don't think it's necessarily your commander. I think it's particularly potent in the 99 in conjunction with other useful tools and lots of things that the Rock can do. But if you have overlooked Killmonger as a tool to put in your deck, I think you need to go back and give it another look. All right. Last one today is going to be Hulk Gamma Goliath. So 3 red green for a 6/5 legendary creature, Gamma Berserker hero with reach and trample. Power up abilities of other creatures you control cost 3 less to cast. And then power up for 6 red green, put 5+1/+1 counters on Hulk. Well, so this one looks appealing because you can put up to 5+1/+1 counters on something and turn Hulk into an 11/10, which is monstrously big. However, 2 drawbacks here. First off, that power up ability is not impacted by its static ability of reducing other creature costs, like other power up abilities, right? So it's for other creatures, the power, which can be good, but you end up now sinking yourself into other power up abilities. Now, if it had reduced activated abilities by 3, which would be absurd, but that would have been, an area that I would have been more interested in exploring. But to look up power up abilities specifically is decidedly lacking. But since it doesn't get cost reduced by its own ability, you're still paying 8 mana for an 11/10, which means you've now spent 13 mana at a minimum for an 11/10 creature. That is an astronomical sum of mana, even for Gruul. So while I think the card is interesting, and I really would like Hulk to be particularly interesting, while Killmonger and Captain America I would say, are great. I think they're actually very good cards. I think Hulk Gamma Goliath is lacking. And I think it is something that if you're someone who likes to fool around with budget decks, or you want to play, in some sort of pauper event or whatever, that I think you would be well served to avoid Hulk Gamma Goliath on the regular and avoid its ability unless you have really significant ways to make that activated ability be much more reasonable. Which is unfortunate because I think Hulk Gamma Goliath is pretty cool, but I do think it is lacking. All right. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of this evening's stuff. And I think, just so people are aware, I think what's going to happen here for the foreseeable future is that rather than posting half-hour or so long videos or podcasts, it'll be much shorter in length. Perhaps a little more, numerous, just to give people a taste of a regular content. But it's going to be a little bit shorter. So I think this is going to be somewhere in the aims of about 10 minutes long, to give people, a little solid bite-sized snack of what we do. And then when I get back to my regular situation, well, then we can talk about having some more of the regular length stuff, unless people really enjoy the stuff where we do shorter things. Now, folks out there, if you would like to connect with us, down below in the show notes is going to be the link to our social media. You can go find out all the goofy things I post on Instagram, all sorts of stuff. Additionally, you can go and check out what I do on YouTube. I have been posting gameplay videos on Arena for Brawl because I think it's a powerful tool to allow me to do research and preliminary work around upcoming decks I want to build. But also it's just a really good platform to stay sharp, even if you don't have regular opposition that you play with in a pod. But you can find lots of gameplay videos of drafts and of Brawl, if that's what interests you there too. And now, hopefully, we're going to get a chance to post some content around Commander and budget-friendly options for people who are looking to, stretch it all a little bit further when it comes to Commander. Anyway, folks, that's all. like and subscribe, whatever, leave a comment, engage, ask me a question. Tell me which commander of the uncommon commanders from Marvel superheroes you've enjoyed. Maybe there's one that you've tried and is absolutely heinous. I don't know. Let me know. My experience is limited. The nice part about Magic, there's tons of people playing everywhere, and I'd love to hear what people think. So, leave a comment down below. Go check us on Instagram. Go check us on YouTube. Just check us out. Love to have more people checking out. All right, folks. Thanks very much. We'll talk to you again soon. And until the next time, later, gators. Bye.